Hello, this is Mike Davis. I've been at this for quite a long time. More of an instructor than a pro pool player now, but I love the game still, and I'm really happy to be involved in this tour and to have made it to the finals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most of everyone is aware of your resume and what you've done in pool. I'm here with Mike Davis. This is Justin Martin. We're gonna be doing commentary over the match finals from the Carolina Billiard Circuit Stop Four. Um, and I'm glad to be here. It's exciting to do something like this. Never really had a chance to do any commentary or anything like this, so pretty cool.
Let's see where we're at here.
Greg packing it up.
Yeah, you just eliminated Greg in the semifinal match there.
Yeah.
That was good shooting. You had a break and run at the very end, right?
Yeah, I think I broke and ran hill. I got lucky. I feel like I won all my flips and lags in the last day, and then like 3 out of 4 of the last matches were hill, so or something like that. 2 out of 4.
All right, so this is just me practicing for a while. You had just got done playing a match, so I know I had to get up there and hit a few balls, try to get loose a little bit.
Yeah, I remember somebody telling me that you were trying to hit balls to stay warm, and then I think someone told me you like went home to like try to take a nap or something.
I actually ended up napping in the car.
Yeah.
At
Okay.
first, I signed up for their little weekly tournament to play that in between.
That's what they told me.
Yeah, I was like, why not? I'm gonna be here anyway. Just hit a few balls to stay loose, and then I lost my very first game in the weekly chip tournament type, and I was like, you know what? I think I'd be more beneficial to take a nap. That would be a better strategy right now at this point. Try to be well rested for the finals.
Right.
Stamina is a big part of these tournaments. It really comes into play a lot. And like, I know you're young and also like you're in really good shape too. So, I don't know if you still work out, but you seem like you either eat healthy, work out, whatever combination. And that's important. Back in the day, we had a bunch of, like Steve Mizrak, Buddy Hall, like great players, but they would lack the stamina to compete with the top players today, I believe.
Right.
So.
Right. I think you're probably correct on that. Those guys were incredible talents, but I mean today it seems like the players at the top of the game are much more well-rounded athletes. Honestly, the way the guys like Federer and Joshua Filler, the way they treat the game, I think it's vastly different than the guys of that generation.
Yeah, 100%. They really like they have a schedule. They usually like have a certain time they're gonna practice from this time to this time, and then they're gonna work out from such and such time, and then they're gonna eat lunch, and then they're gonna practice 3 more hours or whatever. Very regimented. Which if we had coaches, which we in the U.S. pretty much never do, but in Europe they often do. Like I'd imagine a coach would set up a regimen like that for us.
Right. Yeah, I had the opportunity to speak with Alex Laley, and I actually worked with him a little bit while I was in the Philippines. But it's it's eye opening to see a little bit deeper into the mind of Alex and how he prepares those guys. He was telling me, like when he's working full time with a player, he basically is going to take a look at the schedule and they're going to determine together at what points in the season, what points in the year they want to be at their best, and they're going to long term schedule and format their training around that. So in the slower times they're going to be a little bit more technically focused, trying to make leaps in the technical consistency aspect, and then as they get closer into where they want to be at the top of their game at their best level, they they get a lot more competitive focus. They stop doing as many drills. They start competing more, and when they do train, they're doing more ghost type training and things like that.
That makes sense. I mean, it's pretty smart, yeah, away from, like you said, away from the times when you need to be your best, is if you want to change anything technique wise, whatever, rework something like that, absolutely. And then when you want to be your best, you can't be second guessing things. So
Right,
yeah,
right. And then the Filipinos, I was able to be a part of a group over there that is responsible for sending dozens of champions over here. The Mariano family, they had created a group called Bugsy Promotions over there, and they were paying a select group of players a small salary daily, 5 days a week to train. And I was actually fortunate enough to be able to train with those guys for a while. And they were playing 100 racks of scored ghost pool a day, 5 days a week. Pretty incredible, the level that these guys were working at. But we're about to get started. I won the flip, breaking the first rack now. All right, game one, I break dry. Barely missed the corner ball.
that's a rare thing. How often would you say you make the corner ball nowadays?
Um, Sometimes tables give me difficulties, like the table that y'all were streaming on that past weekend. I tend to like to break from the right side rail, but I was having issues getting the balls to rack the way I wanted there. And then as matches progressed, I started breaking from the left side rail more and more and more. And I started to have good results. But I mean, to be honest, if I'm hand racking for myself and I'm allowed to touch the one or do what I want, it's over 90% for sure.
Yeah, yeah. When the table's racking pretty well, that's what I expect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was pretty happy with that very first shot. So I kicked it, and basically just kicking with that speed and direction to get the one down table, hoping to leave it behind all those. I had 3 balls to get behind there, pretty big zone.
Yeah, you hit it great. I mean, I would expect you to be spot on directionally with that kind of shot, but you hit the speed perfect as well. So I'm going to try to come underneath this 2 rails, kick the one up table, and create some separation. All right, I hit it well. Got a little bit fortunate with the 2 kind of hanging out wide open over there. I probably would have liked to hit the 1 a little bit closer to the side pocket, and bank it more towards the center diamond on this foot rail.
These shots scare me. If I could see that piece of it, which I believe I could see, like the outside edge, even if I could, I'm scared to hit it that thin anymore. So that's so I probably lean toward the kick on this, even if I have a tiny piece of the ball.
Oh wow! What
Like if someone, assuming I did have a tiny piece, like I thought, if I was younger, like someone that your eyesight and you shoot as straight as you do, you could just easily thin it and go down table.
Well, they're always touchy. I don't know about you, but me personally, I have one side that I feel really comfortable thinning the ball well from, and then another side that gives me serious issues. So,
Yeah, most people have a little bit of a preference just because your dominant eye. So whichever side, like one is going to be a little bit easier. It's generally the way it is.
yeah, absolutely. All right, so I kick one rail at the 1, missed a little bit short. Mike's got ball in hand, rack 1. So the balls are laying a little tough. The 5's got issues. The 6 has issues.
Yeah, so I think I was looking at, could I potentially like break it out and bump the 8, or go this way, just bump the 7, clear the 7 away from the 5, or should I just run down and try to get on a combo or a safety on the 5? And I decided at the end, because I couldn't really break out both problem balls.
Right.
So just try to get down on the 5 non-combo, and if I'm a little awkward, I could probably play safe.
Yeah, I think that was a good decision. Like you said, you could have broke the 7 there, but the 6 was still going to present you issues later on.
This one's something. So basically, I can hit a stop shot and have position, but going away from it. So I'd almost like to draw the cue ball back to, almost where it is now, not exactly. So I'm going more in the direction of where I want, but then I don't trust myself necessarily to have that speed. So I chose to play for what I'd basically normally call the wrong angle, but because I had perfect position already with just a stop shot.
Right. Yeah, I mean, ideally, you would definitely want to play into the line of the shot line of this combo that's coming up next. But I think I would have made the same decision as you there because you can come into the side rail and back into the angle here just like you did.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. And Buddy Hall, I love to quote him on this. He said one time, "Don't play position when you already have it."
Exactly. I almost said the same thing just now, but I think that's very wise. Great shot. Great shot. So I've always thought you shot the combos extremely well. Is there anything that you lean on whenever you're shooting the combos? Because for me, they make me extremely uncomfortable and anxious.
Uh, I mean, you just got to try to think positive. I was anxious. I was uncomfortable too, just because, right? It was definitely a missable ball. We're in the finals. I know you're going to probably run out when I make mistakes. You play at a level that's going to punish me for my mistakes for sure. So you just got to think positive. But then there's, the different general aiming. Like some people like to pick a spot on the rail to shoot at, but I don't. I seem to be better off if I like aim the 5 into the ghost ball point on the 9. That's my preference. But
Yeah, that's the way I aim them as well. Do you think that your straight pull and one pocket background, you think that's a big part of why you're more comfortable with the combos than a lot of rotation players?
that's pretty likely the case, actually. I do find, like someone like Tony Chohan, I think is phenomenal at combos, but because he plays them all the time.
Right.
If you're playing games like you mentioned, one pocket and straight pull with all 15, you're just going to be presented with combos more often. So certainly, just the repetition could play a factor.
Gotcha. Might have to incorporate some straight pull into my training. Maybe you can teach me some straight pull. I don't really know the patterns and the break shots.
You don't have to. you
I
know,
mean, you say that, but every time I try to practice the game, I'm like, man, I really don't know how to play this game. I mean, of course, I've ran over 100 a few times, and I haven't spent a lot of time playing the game. But I
yeah.
feel like at my level, I should be able to put up a lot bigger numbers than I have, and a big part of that is because I don't really know the break shots.
Yeah, to play it at really high level, you gotta play decent patterns, whatever. But like you said, you've run over 100 several times, however many times. I watched the champions that are just so good at pool in general. Like it was shoot, I forget, but one of the Filipinos, I'll remember his name maybe in a minute. He ran 225 with no concept of a key ball whatsoever. He's just going 2 and 3 rails to get shape on the break shot every time, and runs 225. I was Lee Van Corteza, and I'm like, this guy is playing about the dumbest straight pull I've ever seen,
And
and he
puts
runs
up a number
200
like that.
anyway. Like it was incredible. So someone with with your talent, with your execution, even with just minimal experience at the game, you're still going to play a high level just because. But yeah, as you get your patterns a little more dialed in, so yeah, certainly I should have, I didn't put enough right English, or maybe I should have drawn the ball a little bit more, whichever one. Um, Overall, like I played pretty well considering like I'd been using a wood like the Z shaft for forever. I've been using a Predator wood shaft since 1998 actually, and so switching to a carbon, it was just like 4 days or so before this tournament that I really made that switch. So a couple of my shots are going to be a little bit off like that.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised to see you try to spin in position there rather than like or stun or draw into position.
Yeah.
But I can understand coming from the thinner wood shaft. You're used to probably imparting a little bit more spin on the ball with the same tip position as as the carbon shaft you're using now because it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. Like if I want to get that extreme spin now, I have to aim a little further outside of center with this thicker shaft, and I wasn't really dialed in, so that's what got me out of line.
Mm. Well, you handled the four, and I guess I just conceded the nine, so Mike takes the lead 2-0. What do you think about break time billiards in Cary? I think it's a really nice room. I always enjoy going there.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they've got really good food. The tables play great. They bought the tables the exact same time. They recover them at the same time. That's always a nice bonus when the pool hall can do that. So the tables play nearly exactly the same. So they've got a decent amount of room around the tables, decent seating. Yeah, so I like pretty much everything about it. I just wish it was bigger, or they make more break time billiards. They should franchise this place and make a bunch of them.
Yeah, that would be great. I think it's an extremely nice room as well. Tables are super consistent. Uh, like you said, everything was the same all throughout the room. All right, so I come off of the right side of the one and scratch. Game three. Mike has ball in hand. I've pocketed three balls. Don't see any issues from here for Mike.
Yeah, the six ball ghost. I like it. I do think I could still beat the six ball ghost.
Yeah, I'd like to bet on you if anybody wants to let you play the six ball ghost, Mike. All right, so you look like you came up just about perfect here on the two to just slide over, take the five to the side.
Yeah, that was the plan. I think I almost overhit this.
Okay, so you drew it a little bit and came a little bit more directly at the six. I think I probably would have stayed away from the ball a little bit more, just a little bit worried about going at the six quite like that.
Yeah, my position has had to be like a little like really precise doing it that way. Really, I don't trust my shot making as much. In that case, the five's right by the side, so I probably should have played it more like you're talking about. But in general, as I've gotten older and the little bit of a tremor affects my shot making, so I've really gotten to where I try to get closer and closer to the balls rather than just trust the stroke.
Right. Try to play a little tighter cue ball.
Yeah. But like someone like you with the shooting super straight, you have the luxury of not having to get this close.
What's Barry doing
This is
crawling around in the pool room in the background, in the middle of the finals? Shout out Barry Mashburn. I don't know what you were doing here, but yeah, we're here for it.
Hope he found what he was looking for there.
Yeah.
I overran that one just a touch. It's not bad, but I'm a little close to the rail and a little past straight in.
Just a hair. I think we can all agree we all would like to be on the top side of those nine balls that come up around the spot.
Yeah, that's if you're gonna not be dead straight in. I'd rather be more center of the table for sure.
Right. All right. So Mike runs out after I scratch. Game three on the break. Mike takes the lead 3-0.
Yeah, it's been a fun match to watch so far. I like this.
Yeah, it's looking a little tough for me from here.
Yeah, it's a long match.
All right. So I noticed you using your readers to rack the balls here. Who'd you pick that up from?
Originally Bustamante, I think, was the first one I recall doing that. He would actually just put him on top of his head and run out. and then just wear them up there the whole time and run out on me and then pull them back down to rack.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that. I figured that was going to be your answer.
Yeah. I fought it for a while. I really, I was like, this is not, I don't want to admit that I need reading glasses and let the whole world see it, but I'm over fighting it now. I just can't rack the balls as well without them. I mean, you know, a tiny, tiny little gap here and there is going to really make the rack not react like it should. Like you said, you can make the wing ball probably over 90% when you get a good rack. And I'm going to have no chance to compete against a player your level if I'm not making the wing ball most of the time as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. You're going to have to keep pace, racking and breaking the balls to give yourself a chance. All right, so Mike makes the one. Mike makes the corner ball. The one hits the high point and then comes back towards the lower end of the table. So I don't remember what you decided to do here, Mike.
I don't know. I think I was trying to, I think I tried to bank this ball and just run the cue ball into the 8 to stop it.
Okay.
It really did get awkward where it looked like it wasn't natural enough to do that, but none of the safety options looked real easy either.
Yeah, what were you thinking? Maybe you're going to come off of the bottom side of the 8 towards the corner if you shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was worried about, kind of.
yeah, that. It kind of looked like it was laying that way. All right, so
This is your first actual
yeah,
shot.
honestly, I think this is my first real look in the match after two failed break attempts. So I'm not sure. I can't remember because I had a similar shot like this that I believe was in another match, but I'm thinking I might be about to blow this one straight into the rail. I can't remember.
I think you make it.
Yeah, okay. So either way, I'm looking to come up just below the side pocket and then back across, towards the other side of the table. There wasn't much I could do as far as competing with the 3 there. I just had to make the tough shot. Okay, I do think I remember this one. I do think that I hit this a little bit thick. But the only thing on my mind here is just I'm just trying to pocket this with a little bit above center cue ball, and hit it with a good pace to come back across table and give myself a little bit of angle so I can get down to the 4 with the 3.
Yeah. Even, I mean, your first shot, like you said, it was your first shot of the whole match that you really got a chance to pocket the ball, and it was tough. It was very missable, so at least you did make it. But, like, competing with the 3, like you said, trying to get back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, like I thought, I hit that one a little bit fat. And, yeah, here, Mike's got a chance to take the lead further to 4-0.
Yeah. And I think I made a mistake, but in this case, what I was talking about, the luxury you have of being more comfortable leaving yourself long. So I was debating, okay, do I leave myself long? So I'm looking at that right now. Or do I have to go back and forth? Do I have to go back and forth underneath the 5 and get extra close, which means I'm taking a chance on hitting the 5, taking a chance on scratching across on the other side. And I chose to take that chance because I didn't trust my long distance shot making and my speed was just a touch off. My direction coming underneath the 5 was nice.
Oh, you hit it really well. I'm assuming you probably weren't too worried about going 2 rails there because you were pretty flat on the 2, and you got a lot of movement out of the cue ball there.
Yeah. Yeah, I did expect to stop just a foot or so short of that. I really, but like I said, I knew I was taking a little chance at that sort of thing, and if I didn't have the tremor, and I shot as straight as you did, like maybe once upon a time I used to, I probably would have just settled for the longer shot and not taken any chance of scratching there.
Right. Well, we know you definitely did. That's for sure.
It's been so long, it's hard to remember.
Oh, come on now. Come on. We still see flashes. You're a great player. I've always liked your game, and I mean, technically, I mean you're different. You're different than most people, but I love the way you play the game. I think you make the game look pretty simple, and I see a lot of like your straight pool background come out in playing rotation games sometimes where you surprise me a little bit with your patterns, but ultimately I like the decisions. It's just a little different.
Yeah. It is interesting just to see the different styles because, I mean, for the most part, we're going to see, the majority of the shots the same, but on occasion, from player to player, you can do things a little bit different and still get, great results.
Right. So I'm just gonna stop my cue ball and stay below the 9 here. I think I have a little bit of angle on the 8. I may come back across table. I'm queuing high, so I think I'm gonna come back across table to shoot the 9 in the same pocket.
Yeah. So everything was, I mean, is basically like, stayed very well in line that time, one rail and out or like the stop shot from the 7 to the 8. Everything was just minimal cue ball movement. So,
Yeah, I'm like you were saying earlier. I'm comfortable, shooting the longer shots. I feel real confident in my pocketing ability, and I would much prefer to stay a little bit longer and be in positions where I'm a little bit more full on the angle for pocketing. I like hitting the balls full. I don't like being really thin. Um, and whenever you stay longer distances, usually you're going to be applying harder speeds to do what you want with the cue ball. So that works out for me. I accept a little bit longer shots, stay a little bit more full, and because of the distance, I'm already stunning the ball at higher speeds, which allows me to get the movement out of the cue ball that I'm looking for.
I think I played the exact same style when I was young. And in general, I do think anyone that's got a good stroke, yeah, getting close is nice, but having the right angle is more important. So as long as you have the correct angle, even if you're a little bit further away, who cares? You've
Right.
got the perfect angle. The shot's still going to play real natural. Like you said, you've got a pretty full hit. You get to let your stroke out at that point. There's players like Corey Deuel that have the opposite style. Corey likes to get super close and did even when he was young. He really liked to get close to the ball. He didn't mind having a big angle and judging a more extreme cut because at least he knew he could hit the ball soft and that suited his style and his stroke.
Right. Yeah, whenever the balls get a little closer, sometimes they kind of play tricks on me. I feel like I have a tougher time sighting and aiming, and I feel like I genuinely might like miss sight, miss aim a shot from time to time when the balls get a little bit closer, and I'm having hit the ball pretty thin. All right, so I broke from the right side rail again. Like I said, I didn't have much luck breaking from the right side rail, but I was fighting it, trying to make it work because I feel a lot more comfortable breaking from the right side rail and managing my cue ball. My my natural bias is to you know miss to the right, like to overcut it right to left. So whenever I break from the right side, it's sending my cue ball towards the same side rail that I'm breaking from. Whereas when I break from the other side rail, the cue ball kind of likes to get away from me in the opposite direction, like we saw earlier when I scratched on my second break. All right, so I push out here to a long look at the two. I had something in mind here. I'm not. I think Mike mentioned after. I don't think he saw it. Whenever he came to the table.
Yeah, I really feel like I rarely overlook possibilities like this. So I was looking at the safety looked really tough. The bank looked really tough. Any kind of two way, Nothing looked good to me, and I did overlook the shot that you played. So
All right, so Mike gives it back to me, and what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to hit this with a pretty high speed with a high ball, and I'm basically trying to like hydraulic or warp the cue ball towards the three. So I'm betting the game on this shot. All right, so I hit it good. I was very fortunate for the two to hang up as it did, but I didn't feel like I was going to get much better of a opportunity to steal this game away than that.
yeah, you hit it really well. Even even after, like, I still might have passed that back because the shot wasn't easy to make. The two ball was going to be, you know, it's
Flying
flying
around.
around crazy. Who knows what's going to happen to the two ball? So I still probably would have passed it back, but you hit it really well. Like you said, you got a little bit fortunate where the two ended up afterwards. But, if you hit a good shot, you deserve to get the good roll afterwards.
All right, so I come up a little short here on the four, so I'm having to go away from the five and come back up table. I'm gonna use a basically a low right ball here, not really like a draw, but just a below center tip position, coming back towards the center of the table. I remember this. I overhit it. I hooked myself on the eight. That was never a thought that even crossed my mind, was overhitting this ball and getting behind the eight. So I put myself in a tough position here, and now I got to jump five and hold the cue ball for the six with a little bit of angle here. So pretty simple jump shot, but I mean the cue ball can get away from you here.
Yeah, and even a pretty simple jump shot is still room to miss and make mistakes for sure.
Right. So I'm just trying to land soft on this and get a good enough landing that, the cue ball doesn't go forward through the five and scratch or something like that.
Yeah, and it wasn't too hard where it went crazy and went back behind the eight again or something. Like, you actually hit the speed phenomenal, end up nearly perfect there.
Yeah, I did fall pretty well here. I have some angle so I can come back into the shot line on the seven. I'm gonna use a low outside ball here to come towards the seven. I didn't plan on necessarily being this far on this side of the seven. I really wanted to just stay tight to the center. But I wasn't overly worried about position. So I'm gonna use you know, slightly high outside ball here to run two rails around past the center.
Yeah, that's a real nice angle this time.
Yeah, I felt just about perfect here to play a natural ball coming into the nine here. I think I'm going to use a touch of outside and go to this left side rail. And then here, shooting these. Well, you conceded it, but a lot of people like to roll these balls in. But me personally, I like to hit the balls with a little more pace, and I'm gonna go ahead and use like a below center tip position and wrap the corner there, shooting that nine because it's just a more confident, comfortable way for me to shoot it. What do
Yeah,
you think when you come in those spots?
same. I almost always am going to use low and a touch of outside and then a medium firm stroke. There are players that, like, really do like to just roll balls, and that's their most comfortable stroke. But most of us seem to have our highest success when we have like a medium pace stroke. So, as much as possible, I'm playing my patterns to be able to do that rather than really babying it. And like you said, given the choice there, rather than a soft shot, high ball, or anything, like, I'm going to use that low or low and a touch of outside, and two rails, like you said, wrap around the corner. Like, it allows you just to hit the ball with confidence.
I agree totally. I feel like one of the toughest parts of playing pool at a high level is whenever you're not really commanding the cue ball the way you want, and then you continue to put yourself in positions where you have to shoot off speed shots. That's one of the more difficult parts of the game for me. Is whenever I get in spots where I have to shoot something a little off speed. I feel like that is one of my weaknesses.
Yeah. I mean, almost everyone, we all got to work on that sort of thing, but almost everyone's going to be, more confident when they use that just medium speed stroke. If you got to really, really slow it down, it's tough. If you have to really like try to kill the ball, it's tough. Like,
Okay, so Mike makes a thin shot on the one here. What was your intention with the cue ball there, Mike?
I think I wanted to leave it 2 or 3 feet shorter than that, but
Okay.
I went quite a bit further than I meant to go.
Okay, so you were trying to stay below it to give yourself a look at the side or the corner.
Yep.
Okay.
And being a such a thin cut on the one, the cue ball just really maintained a little more speed, and so I overhit it.
Yeah, I mean sometimes you have to play within what the table gives you. Sometimes the way you would like to play things just isn't necessarily available. So I'm trying to think back on what you end up doing here.
I think I'm going behind the 9 ball. Just use the 8 to stop it. So I thought about trying to go up table and get safe, and I was like, man, the 2 ball is going to have a lot of velocity. So shooting it going across that way allowed the 2 ball to have a lot less velocity initially, and then D8 completely slowed it down for me.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were gonna try to, send the two ball back towards the foot rail towards the spot end of the table, and then take your cue ball 2 rails back behind the four. But I really like your decision because, like you said, you're stopping the cue ball, you're stopping the two with the eight, so you're not worried about controlling both balls as much. You really cue ball focused whenever you made that decision.
Yeah. But I put a touch too much inside and left you a look at it, so you had a nice return safety. And now I've got a jump shot, which is a weakness of mine. When I was younger, I felt like I was a really good jumper, but now the more I elevate, the more that tremor actually comes into play. Like it's tension in my neck and my shoulder. So when I elevate extra, I've got even more tension in my shoulder. So yeah, my jump shots are not that accurate anymore.
Yeah, I can only imagine, and jumping is one of the more difficult skills within the game, in my personal opinion. I know a lot of guys make it look really easy, but it's not as easy as as Federer makes it look.
Yeah, certainly those top few players. I mean, Federer's probably the best jumper ever. Like Filler's great too, but they're just they're the two best probably in the world right now. They execute better than everyone else in the standard shots, and they just happen to execute better on jump shots too.
Yeah, they're really incredible. I mean, Federer and his command of the cue ball, and how accurately he hits the ball with the jump cue is just extremely impressive. All right, so I got a long, tough look at the two here. All right, I fired it in. I tried to come to the left side rail and back out so I could take the three to the side. Uh, Honestly, I think I might have been better off just trying to stay close to the side rail because as y'all saw, I hit that with a ton of pace and I still come up short to pocket the ball in the side. Um, Fell in a really funny spot here. I didn't really have anything offensively other than attempting to try to fan the ball in, and I just don't think it was possible. So what I end up trying to do here is, and it's not laying well to do it. that's why you're going to see me look and look and look at this. Is I end up trying to bank the three across table, back across the center, and play my cue ball, forward through the three into the left side rail, and then back behind the 5-9. But it just wasn't really there. So I'm pretty sure I end up double kissing this ball, and I think I may have gotten a roll out of it. Yeah, as you can see, I'm really struggling to commit to this shot. Really don't like it. And honestly, the way I intended to play it, I don't know if it was really there because as you're going to see, the three comes back and hits the cue ball super full. I got lucky and it kissed back behind the 9. But you have a fairly straightforward look at a jump shot on the 3 here. And if I remember correctly, you're going to pocket this ball.
Yeah, I think I did, but didn't get good position, which it wasn't very natural. But if someone jumps extremely well, they could land it and have a little bit of allow it to run forward to the rail and back out afterwards.
Yeah.
And I didn't do a particularly good job of that.
Personally, I think that's one of the most difficult things to do with the jump cue is to make the landing and the connection between the cue ball and the object ball in a way that allows the cue ball to follow through, because you're cueing down on it. So naturally, you're putting backspin on the cue ball. So following on jump shots is incredibly tough, in my personal opinion. And there's some guys that do it really well. And, hats off to them because I haven't figured out how to do it at the level that they do.
Yeah, it's just not easy. That not at all. Like I said, you got to land it exactly right so it allows it to pick up that little bit of forward momentum, but it's really difficult. So this one, I remember being pretty proud of myself, especially not knowing this cue real well. Some of the soft spin, I had to use a lot of outside to drag it over and try to get behind the 6, and the pace had to be really good.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the tougher kinds of shots in the game. To use we were just talking about those off speed shots. So you were at an off speed there, and you had to use like kind of like a low outside tip position to drag the cue ball a bit.
Yeah,
because if you just try to put the side spin directly on that without dragging it, it's tough to keep the spin on the cue ball, all the way to the 4, right?
yeah. So exactly. So that was an uncomfortable type of speed and stroke, but I play a little more one pocket the last few years versus when I was just a rotation player when I was young. I was terrible at that type of shot, honestly. But when you play a little more one pocket, you just have to get used to those off speed, like real finesse type spin shots, So luckily I hit that one pretty well and got rewarded. Like you made a good hit afterwards, but really controlling it after was going to be, kind of very difficult, and or just getting lucky type of, but so you made a good hit and got unlucky and left me nearly perfect.
Yeah, there wasn't much way for me to create separation there. The cue ball was going to be following along with the 4 basically no matter how I made contact there. So I was all in trying to pocket the ball in the side.
This is where I'm happy to be tall. Sometimes pool, I wish I was shorter because just the natural getting down low to the table. I watch some of these Filipinos, like Alex Pagulayan looks like he's standing straight up and he's low. It just looks so natural. Like he doesn't have to do anything. I have to really, stand really far back or have like a deep knee bend, whichever, to get down to that level for my standard shots. But then when I have to reach across the table, then it certainly comes in handy being a little tall.
Right. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the shorter guys, like you said, it is a bit more natural the way that they're able to come into position. You know, they kind of just stand shoulder width apart with their feet and kind of just fold over at the hips. They don't really have to do much else than that.
Yeah, yeah, not much at all.
Even not, I'm nowhere near as tall as you are, Mike, but even my height, it's not quite so simple as those guys who are not quite 6 foot, more
Yeah,
five, 6 to 5'8" or shorter,
yeah. I mean, some of the Filipino champions, I mean, what are they, like 5'3" or something?
Right.
But that's when it just looks like, wow, this looks so natural. But yeah,
That's
they can't reach the ball once it gets down table. But all the real standard shots, it just looks so easy to drop down on the ball.
that's probably about how tall Alex is. 5'2", 5'3",
Yeah,
something like that.
probably. He's a little guy.
Yeah. All right.
He's got a
So,
big game though.
oh, big game. So 4-2. I decided to go back to the left side rail there, which, if I'm being honest with myself, I probably should have picked up on earlier in the tournament, instead of trying to force the right side so much, because I was having real difficulties to get the four ball track and the corner ball to cooperate with me in the way that I wanted to shore up making the corner ball every time. So I got a very good look on the one here. I'm just gonna slide across, try to give myself a little bit of angle on the two. Uh, I let the cue ball out there a little bit. I would have liked to hold it a little bit more there, but I'm still in a good position here. Not ideal, but I'm gonna be cutting this two past the five in the corner and coming two rails. To the right side rail, back across to the left side rail between the 6 and the 8, and then trying to come back across the center line so I'm not too thin on the 4. All right, so I flirted with this right side pocket a little bit more than I would have liked to there. I think I hit the two a little bit thin. I didn't have a full pocket available, so that was part of why I kind of misjudged the cue ball there. I didn't really have any intention of coming back to the right side rail again, but it works out. I get a good look at the 4. So now everything's pretty straightforward from here. I'm going to be using a low outside, a low right tip position to come back into the line of the 6 to the side, trying to get pretty full there. Now I'm just gonna be using a low ball, probably a little bit of outside, just because it allows you to hit the ball a little bit fuller, and kind of twist the ball into the center of the pocket a little bit there. But I don't know about you, Mike, but I try to be very intentional about my tip position, and whenever I really stay within it, when I stay within center, my pocketing and my accuracy is higher, and I also feel like I stay more in touch with the game whenever I'm constantly conscious of the center. I don't allow myself to use spin to pocket the balls. I use the spin to do what I need to do with the cue ball, or to manipulate the object ball if I need to.
I think certainly most people do tend to play that way. I did overuse outside English to pocket balls when I was young, especially. Like we didn't have any low deflection cues when I first started playing pool, and I couldn't use inside to save my life. I used outside to pocket everything, and then I've gotten away from that, but I still probably have a tendency to do it a little bit more often than I should. And so that's maybe a little bit of a weakness, that bad habit that I picked up so many years ago that's hard to break.
Well, I think it's a natural inclination, to use helping side to pocket the balls. The reason I made the point is because I think we're all guilty of it at times, but I think consciousness, the center of the cue ball, and being really intentional about your tip positions, and not allowing yourself to overly use helping side to pocket balls. I think if people would start to think like that, I think a lot of people would see big improvements on their game.
Yeah, probably so. And even if you are using the outside, like just being like you said, just super conscious of where your tip placement is, that's just extremely important. When you're using center, when you're using left, right, whatever it is, like I think a lot of the mid-level players, they know they're going to put, okay, I'm going to put this on the ball, I'm going to put whatever it is, but they're not as dialed in, and they just don't really try. I mean, every tiny little shot, like when you said you misjudged that ball coming like two rails straight across, honestly your cue ball was only a tiny bit off, right?
Right.
But that's the standard we're trying to have, is like to play the ball perfectly, not to even be like inches off.
Right.
And if you're not trying to play that standard, then you think, oh well, yeah, I'm just putting left on it. But every millimeter is a whole different shot. So if you're putting like an eighth of a tip of left, or when you go to a quarter tip or whatever, they're all completely different shots.
Right. So you made a good opener on the one right there. It was a little interesting to see you break closer to center there, but the corner ball still flew right in. So I'm assuming that the corner ball was probably coming off a little bit, which was an issue I was having. And you just read the rack there, and
That's yeah. The balls didn't rack as well as they did on one of the other ones, so I thought the gap was too big.
oof,
So I moved in, and the wing ball went in. Yeah, I got to where I couldn't reach it comfortably, and a little bit of laziness there. I mean, it wasn't like it was super late, but I was tired from playing 2 days in a row, and it was like the last match, and so just a little bit of stretching, uncomfortable, a little bit of laziness together, and made me make a mistake on a real simple shot.
yeah, I mean fatigue is a real thing. You need to have focus and mental clarity to play your highest level of pool, and putting yourself in the best position to do that is not always easy.
Yeah, like I said, that's why I mentioned something earlier, like but you like staying in shape. Being young helps. That there's no substitute for that. But
Right.
staying in shape, so you can have that stamina, just like the top, especially the European top players are all working out, having eating healthy, all that sort of thing. Like it's really important.
Right.
So
All right. So I have a little bit of angle here on the five. I can remember, and I had to make sure that I hit the pocket very accurately here, or I would have been coming into the eight. I had to hit the left side of the pocket so I could miss the eight and come back towards the center line of the table. So I had a good position on the six to manage for the seven. So I think I came up a little bit thin here. My cue ball is going to be moving towards the seven. I'm not dead straight, so I have to really try to hold the cue ball here, and I get a little close on it. And obviously, this isn't ideal.
I was working with someone on a shot like that this afternoon, giving a lesson, and just trying to emphasize like being able to hit a ball like that as soft as possible, but without allowing it to have forward roll. Because if
Right.
you hit it too hard, you drift over towards the seven like you just did. You just hit it the tiniest bit too hard. But if you hit it softer, then you have forward roll on it, and that's no good either. So finding that exact right amount is it's really critical.
Yeah. So right here, I'm taking on the seven full blast. Um, I had a feeling that the cue ball was going to be pretty well contained. I knew I was going to be hitting the right side of the nine, and I played it with a high inside cue ball to run the rail, three rails like that. But it obviously worked out for me. Cue ball comes back to center.
Yeah, I mean that was a good decision to play it with the high inside.
Yeah. So like you were saying here, I'm not gonna try to do too much with the cue ball. I'm just gonna get back close to the center line of the table, uh, and not worry myself too much about trying to get too close.
Yeah, like I might have went 3 rails around trying to get close, which makes the maybe miss the 8 ball more often, you know?
Right. Yeah, and that was my first thought, was to try to go around 3 rails. But like I'm very confident in my pocketing, and I feel really good about my sighting and alignment. So accepting the shot should never present me any issues, and I need to be aware of that, because if I try to get too close there and too cute, because I was a little bit flat on the 8, so I would have had to use some real speed to come around 3 rails.
Yeah. But you had just a hair too much angle to really draw it and get perfect either.
Right.
So yeah, I 100% agree with your decision there. Like to just accept a little bit of a cut on the nine, a little bit of distance, but nothing extreme.
Yeah, I mean, I got the most out of the cue ball I could. I got back towards the 9. I wasn't down there at the head string, or the foot string quite. So I managed the 8 well.
You did. I enjoyed those first 3 games a lot better. Just so you know, there was a lot more of me playing.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you.
I should have took an extra second on that 2 ball.
Yeah, that was a big surprise. A little bit of a blunder there from you on the 2.
Yeah, we can miss anything if you're, no matter how good someone's capable of playing. If their focus isn't there, like we can all miss like the easiest shots in the world at times.
Anything. Focus is everything. Focus pays a premium. It's hard to play good pool whenever you're not in focus, and it's hard to play good pool for extended periods of time if you haven't built that focus up to a level that you can really command.
That's certainly the case too. So the being in shape, like the physical, that's great. That's a big thing to work on. But just playing and competing for long sessions like we have to do in these big tournaments, that's a skill in itself. Just being able to mentally focus like that, like I think the same thing like in chess or something. Like maybe I can play chess fairly high level for 30 minutes or an hour. There's no way I could do that for 10 hours. I'd be just so exhausted mentally. So
Right.
pool's very similar.
Right. So I had a little bit of angle there on the 1. I decided to wrap the corner, coming back towards the center instead of trying to use it inside or anything. So I'm on the wrong side of the 2 here, but I'm going to use like a little bit of a stun draw here to get to the side rail and then back towards the left side of the table.
Yeah, so you got to shoot that 1 ball the way you were most comfortable with, where you never miss. That's a big. I probably would have tried the inside English myself, but if it's gonna make you miss it, then that's not worth the risk of trying to get perfect that way. Just give yourself a decent shot, and you can get back in line on one of the following ones.
Okay, so I decided to roll through on the 3 there and then just take the 5 in the side. I come up a little bit short, and honestly, it doesn't look like I have a ton of angle here, but I had a little more angle than this looks like. So um, I really had to kind of cinch the cue ball here and just really focus on pocketing the 5. And with the 7 laying in front of the hole, it allowed me to just really go all in on hitting the 5 pure, hitting the center of the pocket. Did overcut it a little bit, but it worked out. So I'm gonna play to the right side of the pocket and then just come up on the right side of the table. If I tried to play to the center of the pocket with the 7 right there, I would have been forced to come back across to shoot the 9 in the same side. So, um, for all you guys out there trying to improve your game, there's a lot you can do, and being able to hit the pocket accurately and being able to hit different parts of the pocket in those kinds of positions, and being comfortable with it, it really opens the game up to be able to do a lot of different things.
Yeah, being comfortable with that is super important, and just being very conscious of it. The way you were mentioned, being super conscious of your tip placement. I think a lot of the amateurs, when the ball's near the pocket and you could potentially cheat it, they just don't try hard enough sometimes not to cheat the pocket, for instance, right? Like you cheated on purpose to create the angle that you wanted. Sometimes they think, oh, well, this is an easy shot, and they don't give it enough, enough focus, and then they accidentally cheat the pocket, and their cue ball ends up a foot or two out of line.
Right.
So it's really, very important. You still have to bear down 100% even on balls like that if you want to get the cue ball in a certain spot.
Yeah, for sure. So you broke from a little bit closer to center again there. Like I said, I was racking on the same table too, so I saw the corner ball on the right side of the rack kept leaking off. Like I couldn't get the bottom side of the corner ball frozen to the L track. So that's why I moved away from that side. But you were oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that, so I made that a little adjustment. The ball went in, the wing ball or corner ball went in. I got a good shot on the one, honestly, except for that it was so straight in, and I tried to cheat the pocket to the other side, and I end up shooting it dead straight, and obviously not a good result there. But that was just the lack of accuracy in my stroke to, I wasn't super close to the one, and so I just didn't hit it well enough to cheat the pocket to the side. Otherwise, I could have followed two rails and
Well,
got
those are
down.
always tough shots, but I mean, whenever you're able to hit them with that kind of pace, it I feel like it gives me a little bit more confidence, just because like I feel like even if I don't hit the pocket absolutely the way I want to, because of the pace, it's kind of going to push the cue ball off of the straight line into the hole a little bit more. All right, so I'm straight in on the three here. I'm just going to pull the cue ball back about a diamond, take the four in the side.
Yeah. Even that first shot, right? Like you just settled for like a bit of a long on the three. Like you got your cue ball close, but had to shoot the three a long way up.
Mm-hmm.
That's one like I might have tried to do something trickier with the cue ball to get the three in a closer pocket, for instance.
Right,
But
like to get on the high side, get on this end of the table so you can shoot the three to the closest corner.
yes, that's
Yeah.
probably what I would have done at this point versus, 15, 20 years ago. I agree with playing it exactly the way you did. If your shot making is good, keep the game simpler, keep the cue ball motion simpler. Don't try anything crazy
Right,
because you just don't need to.
right. So right there, there's another instance of using the pocket when you're a little bit closer to the ball to get what you want out of the cue ball. I was a little bit full there. I had to hit the left side of the pocket to be able to come out on the outside of the nine there. The natural going to the center of the pocket was more like using a touch of inside and coming back between the eight and the nine.
Yeah. So 6-4 now.
Yeah, I feel pretty fortunate at this point for sure. Looking back on it, you know, I believe I was down 4-0. Um, so to now I've put myself in the lead. It didn't have to go that way. You definitely didn't have to give me enough opportunities for that to happen.
Yeah, 3-0 at
Three
least it
zero.
was.
Okay,
Yeah. And then 3-0, and that's when I went back and forth and scratched on the side
that's
when
right.
I could have left a little bit longer shot instead.
That's right.
And then you didn't make many mistakes. And then I missed a simple two ball where I was stretching across. So that was pretty bad. So
All right. So 6-4. I'm staying to the left side because every time I allowed myself to stay there, I was having good results. But right there, I kind of came across the one. I think that's a big part of why you saw the six miss so badly there. But I was fortunate. I made the one in the side. The two's laying right over the side. Uh, I, I have a good look here. I got a little angle. The cue ball's going into the eight. So what I'm gonna try to do here is I'm gonna overcut the two a little bit to the left side of the pocket so I can come into the eight more full, and I'm gonna draw the cue ball off of the eight back towards the center of the table.
yeah, that also allowed the 8 went in, but even if it didn't, it just got it away from the other object ball there, created more space.
Yeah, it was definitely gonna cause me a little bit of trouble on the four. It was something I was definitely gonna have to think about, but Going into the 8, I moved the 8. You know, it was fortunate to pocket the ball, and also the 4 stayed. I remembered that. I knew I was about to miss that ball. So right there, I had to use a little bit of inside, and particularly cutting the ball that way, left to right, and using inside is a little bit of a problem shot for me. It's something I need to spend time on regularly to feel confident. But you know, you got to be able to shoot all the shots. You got to shoot the right shots. Miss or make them. You got to shoot the right shots. Oof.
Yeah, I didn't think if I cut it, I could get position well at all. I think I was really focused on the carom, and I was like, I'll try to make both balls, and if I miss the carom but make the bank shot, then I can just maybe play safe on the 4 somehow. But I was focused on the carom more than anything.
Right. I think I would have made the same decision in your shoes. It was a tough bank to take on. You knew the cue ball was going away from the 4. The 9 was in a position to be able to attack it. So I got a tough look at the 3 here. I'm just completely focused on making the ball there. I hit that really crisp, and fortunately, I was able to just focus solely on pocketing the 3 center ball.
Yeah, even this one, I don't think you have a whole pocket, so this is still like, yeah, you hit that 3 really well. That type of stuff, you're just executing pocketing balls like at a really high level.
Yeah, I think I'm about to make a mistake here though. I didn't have a full pocket on the 4, so you know I really had to stay to the left side of the pocket, and you know I hit the point going in. I remember being really surprised at what happened here.
Ugh, yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, I was really surprised at that. I
I think I was trying to play it like to catch it just a hair thin to make sure to run out and get good on the 5, but the 5 is right by the pocket, so there was no need to to try to be cute with it at all. Just make sure I make that ball.
Yeah, I was very surprised there. I mean, like losing focus and making a mistake, like when you were stretched out, missing the 2. I mean, those kinds of things happen. But right there, you know, with the 5 laying right over the same hole, I was really surprised to see you try to catch the 4 so thin. All right, so I got a little bit of angle on the 5 going up table here. Um, I am going to try to leave myself on the center line with angle going towards the left side rail, so I can take the 7 back up table and avoid having to shoot the 7-9. I remember this game specifically because I'm pretty sure we made more mistakes in this game than match in itself in entirety outside of this game.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah, like I wondered if like a little bit of fatigue set in with you there or something, like because finally, finally you started to make a couple mistakes versus you'd played really solid for a while there.
Yeah, yeah. So I knew I was gonna. I remember that shot. I remember missing it. I remember this game and kind of just being a little bit unhappy with myself for losing focus for this whole game after getting 3 opportunities to win this game. I don't remember what happens here.
Me either, but I know if I had made this jump, the cue ball's going to swing around 2 rails. It's kind of natural position wise.
Okay, so you hit it pretty well. You almost pocketed the ball. I get another good opportunity here, but yeah, I don't know what was happening during this game, but I'm just gonna go ahead and let y'all know I'm gonna hit this thick as well, just like I hit the other one thick. Um, I was a little bit focused on controlling the 7 here, obviously, but I mean, still no excuse. I mean, honestly, I hold myself to a standard, like on a bigger pocket table like this. I'm just not supposed to miss these kinds of balls. So things got ugly real fast in this game. But if I remember correctly, you're gonna hit a good shot here. Cutting the six to the lower right and running your cue ball 3 rails around back to the center.
I really considered playing safe too, just trying to shoot the six like straight back down to where I was standing and try to roll through, get underneath the seven ball.
Right.
But I was like, well, it's going to be a weak safety, so I'm never getting ball in hand with that.
Right. Oh, okay. Okay. You were a little fuller than I thought. So you just use like a check outside to come back to the center line there.
Yeah. If there is one real advantage to this slightly thicker in the carbon shaft, like the draw stroke, like you can draw the ball a little bit easier, I think, with this. Like so, yeah, the power draw does come easier with that than the wood shaft I was using.
Right. Right. Um
So this is smart. Like you chose this time to take a break. Like the game where, like I said, it looked like a little fatigue had set in for you, and I went ahead and took a break at the same time as well. But yeah, I think that's smart. A game that you made a couple mistakes, like go ahead and take that break now, reset, and get your mind right before we come back and finish.
right. Yeah, I mean I had to use the restroom, but I absolutely had the same thought. It's like, okay, I don't really know what happened right there, but I'm going to take a second. I'm going to try to reset.
Yeah, I've heard people like talk about it as if we shouldn't take breaks in that way. Like, oh, shouldn't take a break to like maybe you're just trying to get your opponent out of rhythm or whatever, that type of thing. Every sport they do that. You think, when they call a timeout in basketball, that's almost always why it is, right? The other team goes on a run, the coach calls a timeout. Let's talk about things. Let's
Right.
let's reset our team for a minute. Let their run be over and whatever. So absolutely same thing in pool. Like and we were between games. It wasn't it's not like you're stopping when I'm shooting the 8 or 9 or something like that, right? Like
Right.
that's you can't just take a break in the middle of your opponent's game. But when and different ones have different rules. It maybe sometimes it's got to be your turn, or other tournaments they prefer to be in between games and don't care whose turn it is. But whichever the case is, as long as it's within the rules, but taking a break somewhat strategically, completely is within the rules and makes sense to do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people talk about the gamesmanship behind it, and maybe some people might be taking those kinds of breaks with their opponent in mind, but for me personally, I I am focused on myself. So the only reason I took a break there is because mentally I felt a little bit perturbed at the moment, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go use the restroom, and I'm gonna try to reset myself.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, that's to me that's just smart. It's just completely makes sense. And like you said, it had nothing to do. It's not like I was on a big run anyway. But even if I was, you wouldn't necessarily take a break for that reason. You would take it for yourself when you need it, when it's going to benefit you.
Right. Yeah. I wasn't trying to put you on ice or
Yeah,
anything. I
I
just
hope not. I only made 3 balls.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
don't
I
think
know.
either one of us were feeling very hot after that game.
No, not
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I know like you're one of the type of players like like the gamesmanship, as you just put it, like that's not really part of your thing. You're just focused on you and trying to play well, and that's how pool should be. Like, and I like that nowadays. It seems like the newer generation of players, there is less gamesmanship. Most people are just we're out here just trying to play pool, have a good time, trying to compete. But maybe 20, 30 years ago, pool had a worse reputation, and maybe there was more whatever little bit of gamesmanship, shady type stuff going on. And it seems like it's going less and less that way. It's going in a better direction all the time. So I'm really happy to see that.
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, most of the guys, my age, my generation, they, if they're really pursuing their dream and trying to be a champion, world champion, number one player in the world, for the most part, most of the guys, love and respect the game to a level that, they don't want to disrespect it or dishonor it. That's my personal feeling of that's the way I approach the game, and I think a lot of the younger guys feel the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, I really do. Like I said, I'm very happy to see that. Like, because I've always wanted, to try to carry myself in that same way, and wish the game was completely like that. Everyone treated it that way.
Right.
Certainly wasn't always the case, and there's always going to be a couple, outliers here and there. But more and more people do respect the game just like that, and try to take it seriously and have respect for their opponents, and you know,
Yeah, absolutely. So Mike breaks here. He makes the corner ball. He doesn't have a great offensive look on one here. I don't remember if he's going to try to take this to the lower right corner or if he's going to try to play safety of some kind.
I think I played it just like a real two-way shot. I was hoping to get the cue ball uh, higher than that, so I had more blockers,
Right.
and I didn't hit that part well, but I made the shot. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to shoot it, I feel that it's better to lean towards more of the offensive aspect of the shot, right? Because I mean, it probably wasn't going to be the strongest safety either way.
no, it wasn't. It was just gonna leave you maybe long at best, maybe barely hooked, but then I'm never getting ball in hand on that one again
Right.
either.
Yeah, more of a containing type of shot.
Yeah.
So you run three rails around there, but I don't think you were trying to come back to the left side of the table. I think you were trying to stay to the center, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I went way long on that one. My speed was terrible.
So do you feel like you mishit the pocket a little bit or just speed?
Uh, I don't know if I'm that far off. It's probably a combination of both.
Yeah.
I probably cheated the pocket a little, so my cue ball had a little extra velocity, and I hit it too hard. So this one I do remember. I'm like, okay, I'm not real comfortable on the combo. Get the cue ball way up table. Hopefully leave him long,
Oh yeah,
and
it ends up working out
yeah,
too.
it
This
worked
this is
out
this is
even better
funny right
than
here.
leaving him long. Yes.
We need a reel of this made because watch what the 9 and the cue ball and the 8 do right here. This is hilarious.
That was the best shot I played all match.
Bam, bam.
So I did run the cue ball and got it. I got the cue ball right where I was going for. I had no idea the 9 was going to do anything like that, but I left you long. That's for sure.
Yeah, so that was real fun. I mean, and fortunately, I still had a really straightforward look at the one rail kick here. But yeah, I remember getting a real laugh out of that when it happened.
Yeah, that was crazy. I could shoot that 4,000 times and never get that result.
So I don't know if you guys heard us talking earlier, like when I asked Mike if I felt like he mishit the pocket. So for me personally, all of it's tied in together: pocketing, cue ball, everything. If you're not hitting the pocket the way that you intend to, your cue ball is not going to be great. Um, I feel like they are intertwined deeply. Having a great cue ball and also uh, being extremely accurate in your pocketing and precise in the way that you hit the pocket.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that. When I'm having an off day with my stroke, because sometimes my tremor's worse than others, like, so my decision making could be good, my speed could be good, everything could be good, and then I accidentally cheat the pocket a little bit and I'm out of line anyway, and it just happens over and over if my stroke's not good.
Right, right.
So,
Okay, so Mike fanned the 3 here and played the cue ball behind the 5. Pretty standard safety. He didn't take away everything he wanted to. He definitely wanted to get me in a position to take away any one rail kick. And I'm gonna try to go all out, pocketing the 3 in the corner here. Felt like I had a little bit of a fence with the 8-9, but I got a little fortunate there to you have the edge of the 3 for sure, but you couldn't pocket the 3 in the side. I remember being really impressed with this shot that's about to come up as well.
thanks. Yeah, this is one, like I said, I feel like this shaft might have made this. This is another, like, I don't have to use, extreme spin, anything. And so the extreme spin, I'm less comfortable with the shaft. I don't have enough time with it yet. But just the standard cut shots, I believe I'm hitting those a little better with this shaft. So
Yeah, so you're going to commit fully to pocketing the ball here. You're going to allow the cue ball come back into the 4, uh, and really just completely focused on pocketing the 3.
Yeah, I had no idea really what's happening. I know the cue ball's run into the 4 pretty full.
Yeah.
It should stop or not travel much. Where the 4 went, it just happened to get dead perfect. But
Yeah.
there was, I really had no idea, but it happened to get like really good.
I mean,
And then
that's 9 ball. You know,
yeah,
you're constantly betting the game on percentages, and I mean, you can't play scared. You have to attack whenever you have your opportunities. So you got a little straight here on the 5, which I believe is going to force you to have to stay on the bottom half of the table, below the 7, shooting the 7 back up towards us to the bottom right.
yep. I even like eyed it up with top for a second to see if I wanted to try to cheat the pocket spin above it. And I was like, yeah, it's not worth the risk. I'd, probably miss trying to cheat it that much to get above it.
Okay, so now you're going to use a high inside, and it I don't know what people are going to think looking at this, but you didn't have much room for error on your cue ball here. You needed to be really tight to the end rail. So you hit a great shot on the 7, fall, basically perfect on the 8. Great shot there. I've always been impressed by you, and I've always thought you've been a great spinner of the ball. I feel like you shoot those shots with inside better than a lot of people. I know you said you're a little bit uncomfortable with your cue right now shooting those kinds of shots, but you've always impressed me with your ability to execute in those kinds of situations, because that's a little bit of a weakness of mine.
Yeah. I said I mean, I've been playing longer than you've been alive. You're playing a super, super high standard already, and it's just going to get better. So you'll get more comfortable with all those little weird shots too. Like, but I like you're playing the style where you don't have to very often.
Right.
So I would have hated that shot when I was young. Absolutely hated it. And now that I've been playing forever, it feels like, so yeah, I got a little more comfortable with extreme inside, that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it always seems like you're able to hit the ball with the right speeds there in those kind of situations to make the pocket as accepting as possible. And that's highly important as well, because when you're applying, more than a tip of spin, you're not always going to hit the pocket perfectly. It's just like, you know, playing the balls at the right speeds for the pocket to accept when you're shooting those, like, slower to mid speed shots with spin. That there's a lot in that as well.
Yeah, I learned that one the hard way, missing too many balls that I hit them a little too hard and they would just rattle. And learn to really like have that object ball when you're going down the rail in particular, have the object ball traveling a little slower if possible.
Right, right. All right, so we're at all 6 here. I'm back up breaking, still staying to the left side. It's working out for me. I broke the balls well right there. You see me make a little bit of a face right there, back at the commentator's booth. I broke those well. The cue ball went to the side rail exactly the way I wanted to, and some ball came out of the rack and kisses the cue ball into the side. So I felt a little bit unfortunate there, because I did break the balls the way I wanted to.
I think I made a mistake here, but I feel like I didn't. I don't know that it's a bad decision. I could have tried to, play underneath the 4 ball. It wasn't like a terribly small window, so maybe I should have versus a left-handed combination. But I really felt like, my left hand isn't too bad. I thought I could make this combo, and then the 4 has the easier pocket rather than having to worry about playing underneath it. So I don't think my decision was too bad, but I didn't make the shot. So
I was a little bit surprised by your decision there. I don't think it's what I would have done, but I mean, you're probably a little bit more comfortable on your offhand than I am, and also, like we were just discussing earlier, I think you're a little bit more confident taking on the combos than I am. So I think I probably would have tried to deal with it differently, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad decision. Because if you pocket the 7 there, the one's coming out. and you know, you're definitely going to have a shot on the one here.
Yeah. So it was a little debatable, the decision for sure. But like I said, I don't think it was a terrible one, but I certainly could have played it different. And in
Yeah,
hindsight, it looks like I should have should have done something else, right?
yeah, I was a little bit undecided in what to do here as well. You know, like if I hit it perfect, there was room for me to try to use the 7 here, but I end up deciding to go thin and try to use the 6, 8, 9 for cover, and I overspun the ball right there. So
I think that was the right decision though, because like you said, there was room to get under the 7. There was also room to miss hit it and scratch right there too. So
100%.
I was kind of hoping you would try to get under the 7.
Yeah, yeah, I
So,
believe it.
and especially hitting it that thin, like you're young, got the great eyesight. I fully expected you to get me behind those balls, so I felt very fortunate that you didn't get me all the way behind them.
Right.
And I hit that really poor. Like I had a pretty big ball. If I just get the one a little further down table, got a big ball to get behind there.
Yeah, I remember being surprised to have an open look at this one for sure. But I'm a little bit thin, so I remember trying to really hold the cue ball up here. I really had to hit the left side of the pocket, almost like letting the one roll over the point, kind of, with a low outside ball. But I end up hitting the pocket pretty square, you know, pretty close to the center of the pocket. So the cue ball comes out hot off the end rail, and I get real thin on the two. I remember I was really hoping to nudge the two right there. I mean, it wasn't my intention, but after the cue ball started moving, I was like, please bump the two.
Yeah, because your speed was good. You hit it about as delicate as you could, and without allowing that forward roll to pick up. So speed wise, you hit it great.
Yeah, so um this, like if I was cutting the ball the other way, I might would attack here, but like I was saying, I have a little bit of issue hitting the ball thin, cutting from right to left, you know, being left eye dominant. So whenever I'm cutting the other way, my vision wraps around the ball more, you know, just thinking about it logically, which which makes it easier to hit the ball thin. So I play good safe there. I was able to get you up close on the 8 and really take away anything super easy on the kick shot here.
I feel like I hit this ball near perfect. I'm really disappointed in the result I got. So I didn't have the one railer, the sixes even in the way. Um, trying to kick like underneath it 2 3 rails, like I'd be dead jacked up over
Mm-hmm.
the 8. So that wasn't really a good option either. I could have maybe kicked towards where the 7 ball is and went a couple of rails the other way, but I like this for the possibility of getting a good result too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you make a good hit there, the balls are separating.
Yeah.
You know, the cue ball is going in one direction and the two is going the other. So I understand the thought process. I probably would have tried the 3 rail option. You know, coming to this left side rail, and then between the 4-7 to the foot rail, and then probably back into the right side rail,
Yeah.
into the 3 rail.
So that was the other one I certainly could have played. I don't know. Like I'm not particularly good at that shot. And I'd actually played in the same tournament, one of those before, in the same tournament where I hit the rail and jumped over the object ball, and so I kind of I felt good about my chances.
Right.
And the video, it seemed like it skipped or something just a little bit. But so what happened was I did jump over the 8 off the rail, but then it landed and jumped over the 2 as well.
Right.
So I felt like I hit it almost perfect, but apparently not.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, I didn't really give it all that much thought when you shot it. I was honestly surprised you shot it, but you know, looking back at it and after hearing your explanation, I think you're dead right. If you hit the 2 there, you're more than likely creating separation and probably even getting cover on the 6, 8, 9
Yeah.
whichever way you hit it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was thinking there's three balls there, so the balls are probably going to separate, and I got a good chance to get behind something.
The three rail option, you more than likely are not gonna create any sort of cover. More than likely, you're gonna be leaving an open look. But for me, I was just thinking that because like it's like, I, let's make a good hit. Let's not give up ball in hand here. All right, so I used a high outside there to get to the right side rail and be able to come into the shot line instead of trying to come one rail up table across the line. So I fall a little bit funny. Um, I had just a little bit too much angle to draw out past the 8 comfortably. So what I'm gonna do here is I am going to try to punch through and take the 8 into the right side pocket. My cue ball gets away from me a little bit here, but I like my decision making here. I don't want to try to force anything and get funny. I know shooting that shot, even if my cue ball isn't great, I'm gonna have a look.
Yeah, I did think you would have played it with a little more of like the slow roll forward more than the punch forward, but again, like if that's your preference is to let your stroke out, hit it with that little bit more confident stroke.
Yeah, it's a little bit more my style for sure. But with me just getting back to playing, I've honestly been hitting balls for. I had a job right before I started back playing that lasted for a few weeks, and I think I just started back playing full time, hitting balls every day. Uh, maybe mid-April, something like that. So I'm not. There's some things that I'm still struggling with. I'm not real confident doing a lot of things that I had gotten accustomed to. So right now I'm just trying to play within myself as much as I can. Play to win, and sometimes that looks like me taking what I'm comfortable with over what is probably going to lend to the more simple
Yeah,
kind of
so maybe in
execution.
another month or two you could slow roll that ball with a little more confidence
Yeah.
versus, when you're if your stroke's not 100% dialed in, those slow rolls, like, yeah, it's easy to go just a hair off. So
Yeah, for me, it's always been a struggle. I mean, I was having a conversation with my father after this tournament, and he was giving me his analysis, and he said honestly, I saw the same thing I've always seen with you, and that's that you really struggle with the off speed stuff. Most of the mistakes you made throughout the tournament were off speed stuff. Uh, and he's dead right. It's something that I really need to work on. If I want to take my game to a world class level, I need to get a lot more comfortable and execute at a higher level, shooting the off speed stuff, slow rolling balls. So so the one's laying over the hole here. You can do several different things with the cue ball here.
yeah, I drew it a little too much.
Yeah. So you tried to draw straight back up the side rail. I think a lot of people would have leaned to that shot just because of the way the two's laying. And I, you know, obviously commanding the cue ball effectively there is difficult. I think I might would have played rail first with a right spin to try to come out onto the right side of the two to shoot the two in the right side. But I mean, I don't hate the decision. It's just something I feel a little bit more in command of.
Yeah, I mean, I like that too, actually. Like, because it allows you to hit the ball softer, so you should have a little bit more control.
Yeah.
So maybe that would have been a better play. It didn't even cross my mind to go rail first there. Really, I was like, I'm straight in, just draw it back a little bit, and so sometimes I don't. Sometimes I really want to spend a lot of time analyzing the table. Other times I don't, especially trying to stay in a little bit of rhythm, just go with your first instinct at times.
Yeah, absolutely. So you hit a really good shot on the two there. These are tough shots for me. Uh, the center ball, thin shot close to the rail. They're just a little bit nervy. And sighting them sometimes is a little bit difficult for me.
Yeah, and I put a little too much focus on bumping the five to stop my cue ball, so I did that extremely well, but missed the three.
Right,
so
right.
so yeah,
So this is no bargain here. The 5-8 tied up on the back end of your shot. So what I'm gonna try to do here is I'm gonna try to land ideally to play one rail into the right side rail just before the side, and try to break the 5-8. So right now I'm looking at where I want to be, trying to decide on what angle I want. I'm just gonna play this with above center left, so I can stay on the right side of the four, which was the left side.
yeah, but yeah, you got the really nice angle. So now you got a choice actually of going. It looks like you could go one rail into them or two rails into them. Two
You're
might give you more velocity hitting into the 5 and 8.
you're right. I definitely had enough angle to go two rails into it. I just felt a little less confident in my cue ball directionally taking the two rail path, because I felt like if I come in tight to the side here and I'm using a heavy outside spin, it's going to send me right towards that center diamond. So I felt real confident directionally in going at the five here, and I make a good break shot. But I remember this: the cue ball falls on the rail, and I knew as soon as I looked at it, I was on a dead scratch. Um, I also don't really have the confidence right now to like elevate and shoot this with a draw or anything. So uh what I basically end up deciding to do is to attack the five, and I hit it with a heavy pace, uh trying to cause the cue ball to squirt a little bit high into the high point of the side.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. If you were just an inch further off the rail, then you can elevate a little bit more comfortably. Like right there, it was just close enough. It was kind of debatable whether you should or not. Like you said, the ball becomes very missable if you elevate.
Yeah, and it's a little bit thin, and you're cut into a blind pocket. So I mean, pocketing the ball in itself is not a give me by any means. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to give myself a chance here. I felt not very confident in elevating and trying to like draw between the seven and the rail or something like that. So I'm gonna hit this with a heavy pace, trying to hit the high point just like that in the side, which I did. I hit the high point, but as y'all can see, it bobbled straight into the side. So
Yeah, so just a tiny bit more pace would have been enough. You already, like you said, gave it quite a bit, but to make it like, stay at the tangent line just a little bit longer, a tiny bit more pace would have done it.
I think
But
so.
then, if you give it too much pace, then the cue ball might go all the way back up table if you don't catch it exactly on the point.
Yeah, there's no telling.
So
No telling.
I
All right.
actually left this a little thinner than I would have meant to.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, not ideal, but you're gonna handle it. With ball in hand, me personally, I'd like to be a little bit more full than that, like we were talking about. I like to stay a little more full. I'd much rather be on the full side of things, and really stunning and punching the ball hard to create the movement, than to be thin and shooting off speed and trying to hold the cue ball.
Yeah.
But I
So
mean, you
I
had
wanted to
room.
get a little more full too. But I really wanted to. I was like, okay, the main way to mess this up is scratch down there.
Scratch.
So I was like,
That's
I want
right.
to come way away from scratching. So yeah, I did mean to get a few inches further down table, get a little more full would have been ideal. But
But like you said, it's okay. You got to be able to accept those kinds of shots playing 9-ball pool.
yeah.
All right, so all 7. I'm back up breaking again. Let's see if I can pocket a ball and get a shot on the 1. All right, so I make the corner ball there. Cue ball kind of got kicked down table and straight back up table, but I was fortunate enough. The one took the path and was uninterrupted by the rest of the rack. So the 1 lands where I want, and the cue ball gets kissed back into the center. So I think I only have the left side of the cue ball available to me here. And I don't really like trying to draw this back above the 4 using the left side of the cue ball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go forward to the left side rail, to the bottom short rail, and I'm playing position for the 2 in the side.
Yeah, and had you had the center or right side of the cue ball, probably would have went straight across rather than
Right.
the 3 rails. Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't fall perfect on the 2 here. I'm on the wrong side of the 2 going away from the 4. I'm trying to remember what I do here. I think, yeah, I'm just going to stun 1 rail. I used outside because I wanted to come to the side rail and then back out. I didn't want to take any chances of coming into the 5 or anything like that. Just going 1 rail and back between the 4-5.
Yeah, I like the going 2 rails there, and I like. I mean, you probably could have played it like just kind of pinch drawed it softly and took the 4 in the corner.
Yeah.
But I like going back up for the 4 on the side as well.
So here, obviously my cue ball is a little bit close to the rail. So, to avoid going forward, I'd have to elevate. But I fell on an angle where I could follow my cue ball through the 9-6 with a high velocity. I'm gonna play the cue ball 3 rails back towards the center, coming into the shot line of the 5 in the bottom right corner.
Yeah, it was a good shot and it looked like a fun one just to let your stroke out that much, really.
It was, yeah, for sure.
And good recognition, like a lower level player might not even seen that they could go 3 rails there.
Right. All right, so I think I have a little bit of angle here, and I'm going to force to the side rail and then back out to center. So like that, I'm a lot more comfortable shooting those kinds of shots, than being thinner and having to shoot off speed. I'm pretty comfortable shooting shots at high velocities. Really trying to get the most out of my cue ball, especially on, like a standard diamond like this with 4.5-inch pockets.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why, like, probably here, because you were a little bit thin on that 6, right?
A little bit.
You would have had to slow spin it if you were going to go outside and get closer to the 8, and maybe would have been a little bit less comfortable. So you just went back and forth. You can let your stroke out a little more, leave yourself a little long, but like we talked about, that's really not a problem for you. So you have the luxury of, like, you can get close when you want to, leave it a little long when you want to, is no big deal.
Definitely.
So you can hit the 6 with whichever way is you're most comfortable with.
Yeah. So right there, I know if I just stay close to the center of the ball, I don't have to worry too much about pocketing the 6. I can just go ahead and hit a nice confident shot. So right there, I was a little bit like, it was a little full on the 8 to the center of the pocket. So I had to overcut the 8 just a little bit to the outside of the pocket, to create a little bit of angle to move the cue ball 3 rails there. And I end up over hitting it just a little bit, but playing 9-ball, you have to be able to accept these kinds of shots.
I think that's the first 9-ball I even let you shoot, and you're not bad on this one either. But the other ones you were so good, it was just a
Right.
complete gimme.
Right. Yeah, you got to make me shoot that. But yeah, I mean you have to be able to accept those kinds of shots, and you have to be comfortable in that kind of situation. I mean, nobody really likes queuing off of the rail, but you're going to be in those kinds of positions almost constantly playing 9-ball.
Yeah, it just happens. I mean, nobody plays perfect, so we're always going to be, a touch out of line here and there, and it's going to happen.
Right. All right. So I was able to break and run there on my break to take the lead 8-7. I'm on the hill. Let's see what you can do from here, Mike. All right, so it looks like that corner ball is still giving you some issues. So you're trying to read it. You're taking the cue ball away from the side rail because you know it's going to go low if you stay to the side rail.
Only that time it didn't.
Yeah,
Versus
exactly.
it actually had worked out pretty well for me a few instances breaking from that exact location. And I do like that the one kind of, seems to usually track straight down to this bottom left corner.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, but that time the rack, I didn't read the rack correctly and gave you a pretty good opportunity.
Well, I mean, understandably so. I understand the desire to break from that spot because, like you said, the one's going to come more directly at the corner. You don't have to worry about sending it to the side rail and back across table or anything like that. But there is always the chance that the balls don't act the way that you expect them to. So I try to shore up the rack and avoid having to make those kind of reads, but sometimes you don't have much of a choice.
Yeah, it's just the table just wasn't racking extremely well.
Right.
That's all. I'd love for it to rack, nearly perfect, and then I can just break from the rail every time. It'd be almost guaranteed to make that ball.
Right. I noticed in this match you never really took a look at breaking from the other side rail because I was having the same issues. I want to break from the same side rail you've been breaking from. Do you not really like breaking from the other side rail or?
Nowadays I do like the right side more. When I was young, for some reason, I really preferred the left. But no, it's just I thought the way the rack was, that I started making balls from that location, and a couple times I had even from the right rail. So I didn't see where I could get the balls racked well to break them, and make the wing ball from the left side at all.
Okay. All right. So I didn't intend. I was trying to float directly into a pretty straight position on the 4 there. I overhit it and got to the right side rail. It came out enough for me to pocket the 4, but now I'm in a position where I can't stun or hit this with any speed that I'm real comfortable with. So I'm gonna have to accept rolling this ball in, and I end up overcutting it slightly, and it puts me below the 5, which was sending the cue ball directly into the 9. There was no avoiding it. So a little bit of a error on my part right there. I mishit the pocket, and in turn my cue ball is not ideal. So what I'm gonna try to do here is I'm gonna shoot the 5 in the lower left corner, and my cue ball's going into the 9, and I'm gonna try to use a high left ball. Like y'all saw, I hit the left side of the 9 there. I fully anticipated to hit the left side of the 9 thinner, which would have brought me across table, shooting the 6 in the bottom left corner, was my intention. Probably hit the 5 a little bit full, hit the wrong part of the pocket. You saw me just you saw me just placing my finger on the pocket. So I'm pretty sure I hit the 5 a little fuller than I wanted to, instead of taking it to the right side of the pocket.
And yeah, if you caught that 9 a hair thinner, you would have got all the way up table and had a real good shot in the 6. Match would have been over.
Right.
So that gave me a little chance here.
So right here, I don't feel too confidently attacking this. So I'm gonna try to use the 9 for cover. I'm stunning the cue ball back behind the 9. I'm pretty sure my exact intention here was to use the 7 to stop the 6. And then I was really trying to come in tight to the corner with a low outside and actually come up on the back of the 7. So my tip position, I guess was a little bit high there. I didn't draw it quite as much as I wanted to. So the cue ball comes out a little high and leaks out over the 9.
So I considered banking this ball around and trying to get it back up table, like on the end rail closest to us, hitting like almost straight into it full. And I was like, well, it's that right distance off the rail where the cut, if I get it close, it can drag a little bit of rail and still go in. And I was cutting the ball like fairly well.
Yeah.
I actually overcut it a little bit.
Overcut it slightly, but I mean, hit it extremely well. Ball did not hit the side rail going in. And that's the way the Diamonds actually prefer to accept it. I feel when the tables get a little bit more worn, they don't really like when you bump that side rail too much.
No, yeah, when the cloth's worn out, even at a slow pace, the Diamonds, they do tend to hang up a lot with the deep shelf the way they are. Like, yeah.
Yeah, they really tend to accept the balls much better when you hit the facing of the pocket, like the outside of the pocket, going down the rail like that.
Yeah, so I was pretty happy with that shot. That was a tough one. That's a type that when I was young, I felt like a real good shot maker. Nowadays, those really give me trouble. But I was, we'd been playing all day. I was playing fairly well and was pretty happy with that one. So
Right.
Hill, and
Right.
you won the flip. I was really thinking. I was like, man, I remember he broke and ran on Greg, made 3 balls in the break. You ended the match against Greg with, you'd won the lag or the flip, whichever, and you got to break, and the match was over.
Right.
So I'm fully expecting that here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I was expecting it, but it's definitely what was on my mind. I definitely didn't want to let you have another look here. But yeah, I like your decision in attacking the 6 in the last game, because I mean, you don't want to really go down shooting a weak safety to end the match. You know what I mean? You want to give yourself a chance.
Yeah, the worst is when you hit the safety bad and you're like, wow, I might as well have went for it.
Yeah,
If the
100%.
safety's hard anyway, like you said, it would have been a weak safety. Even if I got the 6 exactly where I wanted, I'm leaving you a long shot, but I'm not leaving you anything where I'm ever getting ball in hand there.
Right. Yeah. All right, so I break. I make the corner ball. The cue ball gets kicked around a little bit, and the last ball rolling hooks me on the 1. All right, so I mean, looking back on it, I feel like this was a quite questionable decision, but I was feeling good with the jump cue, and honestly, I didn't want to give you a chance back at the table, no matter what. I didn't want to push out. I didn't even want to give you an option.
For sure, and like you said, you're jumping accurate. Now was this one where do you think you got a little too concerned with the landing so that maybe you could follow through?
Absolutely.
So that's what we talk about. These are so difficult to do. So you got to land it further away from the 1, allow it to start, moving forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried because I knew if I landed like right on the 1, there was a high percentage of me drawing across into the corner.
Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to land a little bit early on the 1, a little bit farther away from the 1, like you said, so it could turn into a roll. And in turn, I end up not getting over the 2. So that's big blunder from me. Hill.
and I was shocked to have another opportunity here. Really, like said I kind of expected a break and run. Really shocked at least to get ball in hand. Even with the jump, like you're gonna make a good hit like every time basically.
Right.
So I was super fortunate, and I kind of overthought this. I could have rolled it in the side and went forward. I could have rolled it in the other corner and went forward. And then I was like, okay, well, I like this one for speed control because I want to get to the rail and back out. As soon as I get off the rail a little bit, I'm going into like the wide part of the cone. My speed is not critical at all. And this one's pretty embarrassing. I'm gonna blame this on fatigue here. Who the hell misses one ball with ball in hand on hill? How do I not try a little harder? I just kind of, it's so easy, right? So I just didn't even try. I just focused on getting my cue
The
ball
cue ball.
speed, and
Right. Right.
I got an angle about like I would have liked, and
Well, I
yeah,
mean, to Mike's credit, it is that easy, folks. It's that easy to lose focus of the number one component of the shot, which is to pocket the ball.
yeah,
Um, so we've all done it. I can't say I've necessarily done it in this spot, but I'm guilty of doing it. If I've done it once, I've done it 100 times. So
yeah. But not, maybe not hill with ball in hand, right?
right.
That's what got me. Like afterwards, I'm just sitting here laughing to myself. Like I was kind of mad and trying to laugh it off at the same time because I'm like, this is so dumb. I can't even. I just got to laugh it off. Like I don't know who does it. Hill.
So I didn't really have much here. I could have slow kicked behind the one and bumped into the back of the one, but I really felt like I was gonna leave you a easy return safety if I did that. So believe it or not, I was actually trying to like double kiss the one into the corner right there. It didn't come out anything close to that. I feel pretty fortunate that the cue ball stayed down table right here and the one got so long.
Yeah, well, I got super fortunate. If you miss ball in hand, you should never get safe. So,
I mean, there's two sides of the coin, you know. I shouldn't have
yeah,
never got back to the table, right? So
yeah,
I think we're all feeling fortunate to have chances we should never get, right?
yeah. And
But
this one, I didn't like it. I didn't like, I'm supposed to just slow roll this and take a long cut on the two. The ball is super missable slow rolling it. I was trying to look for safeties, and there was not a easy safe jumping out at me again. So I kind of looked at it like, okay, go down swinging, like we talked about. And I think I hit this ball awful.
yeah, you overcut it pretty badly to the point that somebody I had talked to had thought you were trying to overcut it intentionally and send your cue ball back across to use like the 7 or 7-9 as cover. But I knew you were shooting at the ball, and I mean, when you're shooting that kind of shot, if you miss hit it, it can look ugly.
Yep.
It,
I
you
was
know,
long,
yeah,
and I think in the back of my mind, because I considered that safety, I think I didn't fully commit to the shot. But playing that safety was going to be bad because the one to get the cue ball far enough over there, the one was going to have too much velocity, and it was probably going to come up and leave you a shot anyway.
right.
So I felt fortunate. At least I left you a bank. The bank angle wasn't a terrible one, but
No,
you fired it right in. That
the
was great.
the bank landed quite nicely. I felt real confident down on that one. I was going to pocket that bank. So here, um, this is a little bit of a touchy shot. I know that if I don't really hit the two accurately, like if I happen to like hit the rail first right here, which is what I do, uh, that my cue ball is not going to do what I want, and there's actually a high percentage that I might scratch down there in the corner.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that it looked like it came off rail first, I thought the scratch was potentially in play for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So Um, those are always touchy spots when you're using spin and the ball's close to the rail, and it's on that scratch kind of angle if you happen to catch the rail first. So I was a little bit worried about catching the rail first there, but I was fortunate enough to avoid the scratch and then come up two rails behind the two, behind the three, bumping in the three back up table. So now, uh, all there is to do is to make a good shot here on the three. So no spin, just a high ball. I'm fully committed to just rolling this ball in. hit it really clean. Didn't scrub. Uh, I land straight on the four right here, and with the four being so close to the pocket, of course I had options. I could go both sides of the pocket going forward. I had angle to cheat it, drawing it one way or the other. And what I end up landing on is that I'm going to play to the right side of the pocket so that I can draw. If you look at the shot line, if I shot the four dead straight, I'm kind of drawing pretty close to the side here, maybe just a little bit above the side. But I'm going to play to the left side of the bottom left corner so that I can draw my cue ball more towards the middle diamond right underneath me. So honestly, felt like I couldn't hit it any better than that. As soon as I hit that one, I was like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I knew it was over then too.
Yeah.
Once you hit that shot, like you said, basically just dead perfect. I mean, you had to draw it, like 9 feet, and got absolutely perfect on the ball.
Yeah, so I'm pretty ideal to just play like a below center right, stunning two rails back towards the center here. Um I fall pretty much ideal on the seven as well.
Yeah, that's the best. Is even when it's hill, low pressure. If you just stay like in line, nothing's even tough. I remember the first time that had a one like that against Tony Watson, and I had a break and run hill, and rather than being really nervous, it was like I was nervous, and I just kept getting perfect on every shot. And I was like, wow, actually nothing to be nervous about anymore. Like,
Right. It makes it easy to get through.
yeah. So yeah, once you hit that draw shot as well as you did, like you just you hit that shot perfect and just stayed in line. So not really any pressure, no matter if it's hill or whatever the case. If you just have easy shots over and over.
Right. Right. So uh I felt real lucky to get by with this one after giving you ball in hand on the one, Mike. But other than a few blunders, I feel like you played a really good set. You made a lot of great shots.
Yeah, for the most part, we both did. Like, you had the one game where you missed a couple. I missed a couple, not too bad, but it was really that one being lazy, and the one other one where I stretched across the table and missed an easy two ball. Those were like the two big mistakes that jump out to me that, kind of inexcusable because they were both just a lack of effort type of thing.
Right.
And if I just try harder for an extra second or two on that one, maybe the outcome could have been different. And luckily, I have good friends like my buddy Ketten over here who runs Billiard Media USA to make a video joking with everybody left in the bar at the end of the night. He set the shot up. He sets the shot up and had everyone left, including the bartender, came around and made that shot just to show me how easy it was.
Oh man, that's cruel. That's cruel.
And he was like, "Is it too soon?"
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Could have gave me like one night to sleep it off before you.
Oh man.
Yeah, but hey, I deserve whatever comes my way. You miss ball in hand, hill. I deserve to get picked on a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but that was a fun match. Like I said, overall, I'm fairly happy with how I played. You played well, and it's a pretty cool story. Your first tournament back. What was the real tournament hiatus? 2 years, 3 years since you played a real tournament?
Yeah, over 2 years. I want to say January of 24 was the last time I played a pool tournament.
So, and I mean, that's phenomenal actually to come back and win your first one. So, I kind of wish I would have won, but I'm happy for you. It worked out the way that it did just because it's a great story actually too, so.
I appreciate that, Mike. It really meant a lot to me. Felt really special because like we just said, this was my first tournament, my first real tournament back playing. I had played a couple weekly events, but nothing with really any other good players that really were gonna have any chance of really beating me. So it felt really good, and it was really special for me. And man, I'm so thankful and excited to be back playing again. it means everything to me, really.
Yeah, I mean, I know you love the game. I met you when you were, what, 14, something like that,
Yeah.
whatever. Like you absolutely love the game, and you're a great player. So yeah, the pool world is happy to have you back. Not me so much, because I'm gonna win less tournaments now. That's just the way it is. But yeah, it's good to have you back, man.
I appreciate it, Mike. I really do. It's good to see you still playing well. I remember the first time we ever did any gambling at all was in this room. I think we played some $200-300 sets, and you heisted me. Uh, I was probably like 17 or 18 at the time, but
Well, it didn't take long before you turned it around and robbed me the next time. Yeah. Yeah.
oh man,
Yeah. Once you were just, another year or two after that, and then you beat the crap out of me. So I'm glad I got one win in when, even if you were a kid.
oh man. I mean, it's growing up in the Carolinas. I feel grateful because I don't know how other people feel, but regardless of where I go, I feel like North Carolina is one of the toughest places to come win regional events between you and BJ. And, when I was younger, guys like Shannon Fitch and Jeff Abernathy. And then, in more recent time, myself as well. Uh,
Yeah. It's always been a super competitive state, actually. We've always had good pool pairs here as long as I can remember, because going back, we had like Tony Watson, Sparky, Sam Monday, Mike Fuller, whoever. We just tons of good players. Coltrane, lots and lots of good players. And I remember, when I was traveling somewhere, guys like, oh, I don't even go to Carolina. Like the guy's like, yeah, I can't beat nobody there. Like I'm not, and like he was a good player. He's the best player in Indianapolis or something. He's like, yeah, I'm going to drive right around. I'm not even going to North Carolina.
it's tough. It's
So
tough. I've always felt the same way. And there, like you said, there's several people I didn't even mention in that. Another notable mention, that he was a phenomenal player when I was younger was Keith Bennett.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Keith was phenomenal too. That same, from like my generation, and there were just so many good players. Like Keith takes breaks from the game. When he comes back, he's got a lot of talent. So even when he's taking a break for a while, kind of like you did, like he can usually get it back quickly, and he's back to being a really tough competitor, like immediately. So
Right.
yeah, but yeah, he won quite a few tournaments when he was young. 100% great gambler. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think Mike mentioned Sparky. I haven't really had the chance to be around Sparky too much. He tried to come out of retirement when Mike Ivy was playing a lot,
yeah.
and him
Just
and
for a
Mike
little
were
bit, he
playing
did.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I saw him play some great pool. I seen him break and run 8 in a row playing Mike Ivy at corner pocket playing 10 ball.
Wow.
And I know he hadn't been playing that long, so I mean that just tells you what kind of speed that guy was capable of playing.
Yeah, yeah, he had a super high gear, like really, really high when he was on. It was impressive. All right, well, thanks for doing all this. It was pretty fun, and hopefully the spectators enjoyed, getting to see what's in our head a little bit as we're playing these shots.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I hope everyone enjoyed it. This has been a blast. I really enjoyed it. Haven't had a chance to do something like this, so it was really cool being here and being able to do this commentary with you, Mike.
yeah, thanks. That was good.
Yes, sir.
All right, congrats again on the win.
Appreciate it. Y'all have
Take
a good
care.
one.